Don't ever let someone trick you into thinking that you can't have what you want because they're not willing to give it to you. When you wait for other people, you will be putting your hopes, your dreams, and your desires on the line. Do not wait for anyone. You need to do it for yourself. Free yourself from this belief that you need someone to complete you, to validate you, to choose you. Choose yourself. You choose you. You see your value. You cannot wait for anyone to recognize your value, to recognize your worth. You have to do it with or without them. Plain and simple. Hey everyone, welcome back to Just Like Magic with Julia. Today we are tuned in for a new channeled message this week, and the channeled tea is that you cannot wait for anyone. You need to do it by yourself. See it for yourself. See the value in you for yourself. Because honey, if you wait around for other people to pick you, to love you, to choose you, to see the vision your way, you will be waiting for quite some time. And we are not going to let other people dictate what we do for ourselves in the future. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, become one of my gems, and yeah, you will be manifesting your dreams. You will be having faith in yourself and in the world and in God, just like it was magic. Okay, so please subscribe and let's get into it. So the reason why this message even came to me this week is because honestly, I found myself kind of in my feelings about where I stood with some of the people in my life. And when I did some inner work, when I did some reflecting, I found that I was really upset because they weren't seeing my value, they weren't seeing my vision, and I got in my feelings. And honestly, I feel like sometimes that's what happens at jobs, in relationships, in friendships, and family. It happens sometimes. But truthfully, I needed to check myself because I needed to realize that not everyone is going to see things the way that I see them. And even though that is true for them, and I can't be mad at that, that just means I need to do what's best for me at all costs and prioritize me the way that I would like everyone else to. So this message is really multi-layered because it honestly can be applied to so many different situations. Like I said, jobs, relationships, dreams, goals, a vision that you have for yourself or your life, anything that applies. But the one thing that is true is that when you wait for other people, you will be putting your hopes, your dreams, and your desires on the line. I know a lot of people who want to start businesses, who want to start brands, podcasts, and just have dreams. And they really want to wait for other people, other friends, other colleagues to join them to make that dream a reality. And to me, that is so dangerous, because when you tie yourself to another person, when you tie your dreams to another person, when you tie your ideas to another person, you're also tying the consistency, the scheduling, the prioritization to another person. Don't wait around for someone to realize that it's you. Don't wait around for someone to join you. Do not wait for validation. I understand that sometimes it's scary to do it alone. I understand that sometimes it's scary to think about being alone. I need you to realize that you're alone for a reason, because the dream is yours. In whatever situation this message applies to you, if you are waiting for someone to realize your worth, if you're waiting for someone to realize what you bring to the table, if you're waiting for them to choose you to be with romantically, if you're waiting for them to step up to the plate, to commit to the dream, to the goal, I need you to realize that if it's not working out, it's not meant to be. And I know that sometimes that can be a hard message, a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. And the sooner that you accept that it's not meant to be, the sooner that you can move on and make it be for yourself. You can still have it. The dream has always been yours, no matter what. You can have what you're looking for, regardless of if the person that you're pursuing or hoping for sees that. Time is of the essence, okay? Life is short. And this world, as crazy as it is, as scary as it is sometimes, is also really beautiful and really, really amazing when you make that of it. And We only have a certain amount of time allotted on this earth. We only have a certain amount of time at this age, in this moment. And I need you to wake up because you don't want to waste it. You're so beautiful. You're so kind. You're so worthy. Get up. There are going to be people who see that off the bat and want you and want to share your dreams and want to share your romanticism and want to share everything about you. If someone gave you hope, if you had a wish that you and someone else were going to fulfill something together and make something happen, and now it's not looking like that's going to happen, I don't want you to think that this is a bad thing. I know it can be hurtful. I know it doesn't always feel the best, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad. In fact, honestly, I know that you may not be able to see this right now, but it's actually a blessing because that very person could be the thing that actually will hold you back from the entire dream. I know that this is sometimes a hard pill to swallow, but not everyone is supposed to go in the same direction. Not everyone has the same plan. Not everyone has the same path. And sometimes what's even more hurtful is when you think you do, but life proves you wrong. Whatever the case is, though, I want you to understand something. What you want, the dream, the vision, the idea that you had with this person is still yours. It still exists. It still can be yours in reality. Whatever is up here, even though that person is not giving you the same amount of hope, even though it's not looking good with them, it still can be yours, just not with them. So many times people talk about wanting to start a business or a podcast, but just can't seem to get on the same page with their friends. Their friends are not being consistent. The schedules are not looking right. Maybe they filmed an episode or two of this podcast and, it's taken too long and they just can't get on the same page. And instead of pivoting, instead of doing it by themselves, they just don't do it at all. Don't feel like you need them to do what you need to do to see through the dream. Okay. Now, if the dream is more romantic, if the dream does involve another person, we're going to get to that too. Don't worry. I didn't forget about you. But for things that you feel like you need another person to do, I promise you, if it's a business, if it's a podcast, if it's a passion that you're pursuing, a brand, a social media account, you can do that by yourself. Just because someone doesn't see the vision, just because someone doesn't see the value, doesn't mean that you can't see the vision. It doesn't mean that you can't see the value. If they're not dedicated, so what? That doesn't mean that you can't be dedicated. If you have a dream, if you have an idea, if you have something that you want to bring into fruition into this world, you need to pursue it. Now, this same concept applies to relationships as well. If you have a vision of how you want your life to be with someone else, and for some reason they are not choosing you, they're not ready for you, they're not willing to be on the same page about what it is that you want, that you see. Let's just say like you want, to be married and, you want to have a house and 2 kids, and the person that you're with is not willing to give you those things right now. For whatever reason, maybe they're unsure, maybe they're just dead set against the idea. Do not wait for that person to maybe change their mind. Don't try to convince them. Don't try to change them. That is who they are as a person. You want kids. You want to be married. You want the house. So guess what? You can still have that. You can have whatever it is that you want out of life. If someone is not willing to give it to you, don't force them. Don't wait for them. Don't do anything that isn't actually sincere to you, because there is someone out there that you don't have to wait for, that you don't have to trick, that you don't have to beg or plead or pressure in order to get what your dream is, because guess what? It's theirs too. Don't ever let someone trick you into thinking that you can't have what you want because they're not willing to give it to you. That goes with jobs. I know a lot of us are trying to get promoted out there. That goes with social media, starting a channel. That goes with starting a business, being in a relationship, anything that you can think of that applies. There are so many different scenarios, but guess what? No matter what, whatever it is that you want, don't ever let someone tell you you cannot have it simply because they are not willing to give it to you. Like I said before, life is short. And I know that it can be really scary to take a leap of faith and, get out of a relationship that maybe you saw hope for, or change jobs because they're not seeing your vision, they're not seeing your value. It can be scary to do things by yourself. It can be scary to walk away. It can be really scary to just simply let go mentally of a dream that you had tied to someone else. I even feel like sometimes we get so fixated on a person being a part of the dream that the dream no longer even seems appealing if they're not there. And, I really understand that feeling. That's love. It's love, it's comfortability, it's so many different things that play into how our subconscious mind and conscious mind work and operate. But I also want you to remember that sometimes that's not true. Those are feelings, those are really intense feelings. And I want you to understand that it's not about the person that makes an idea fulfilling. It's about the connection and the feelings behind the dream that make it actually worth living and bringing to life. If someone is not willing to meet you where you need to be met, or if someone is not willing to choose you or give you something that you need in order to live a fulfilling life, a happy life, then that person is not for you. And I also want you to understand that love is hard sometimes. Comfort is hard sometimes. The reason why we feel as though we don't even want a certain dream if the person isn't a part of it is because we've subconsciously put that person on a pedestal and have forgotten ourselves. That is a form of self-abandonment when we're not willing to prioritize or respect ourselves first. So we just kind of put ourselves and our desires and our needs second to someone else. And that's dangerous because that's also how toxic relationships are formed. That's how people get taken advantage of. That's how people forget their own value because it's not being reciprocated by the people that they're around, that they're waiting on. Because subconsciously, what you're doing is putting someone's needs and priorities before your own. And like I said, we do this because we're scared and we have fear. And it can be multiple different things. Sometimes it's fear of what people think. Oh, what will everyone say if I leave the job that I've been at for 20 years just because I feel undervalued? Am I not supposed to stay loyal to a company? Who cares? Who cares what other people are going to think? Sometimes it's fear of taking responsibility and control and accountability completely of our own lives, because guess what? If we're not tied to a person, if we're not tied to a romantic partner, if we're not tied to a company or, a friend or a job, if something goes wrong, we can't blame it on anyone else. We have to take it on the chin. When you take a leap of faith, you have to face some sort of criticism because guess what? All of your decisions are now your own 100%. And I think that it's really easy to point the finger back to someone else when things aren't going well, or if they're a part of the reason why something didn't happen, or X, Y, and Z. But now, if you're responsible for it, what is everyone gonna think if, it's completely me? But like I said before, it doesn't matter. Everyone is living for them. And if someone is judging you because they disagree with some life choices that you've made, let them judge you, because that to me tells me right now that they probably judge themselves 100 times harder. And while that doesn't really matter to you, everyone is judging at some capacity, at some level. You can't live for everyone else. You have to live for you. That's the whole point of this message. You have to fight that, combat that, because guess what? All of what I just mentioned is based in fear. And when you're operating out of fear, it's never going to lead you to a good place. I promise you that at some point you're going to have to face that regardless. So why not start now and choose you now? I think another component of fear is walking away from comfort and choosing yourself completely. Sometimes we're so used to caring so much about the other person and their feelings that we fear that we're going to hurt them by letting them go and putting ourselves first. And that right there should be such a red flag to you that their feelings matter more than your own. If they are making you wait in any capacity, if they're not seeing your value, if they're saying maybe and not committing, then guess what? They're not being considerate of your feelings right now either. So why should you be considerate of theirs? They are doing what is best for them. They are doing what is going to benefit them. And that's what you need to do for yourself. Why should you hold yourself back from what's best for you? You don't have to be cutthroat. You don't have to be petty. You don't have to be revengeful. But the truth is, you need to really start prioritizing yourself and stop waiting for everyone to lead you to where you want to be, to hold your hand, to accompany you. That's not how life works. If you were to wait for someone to be ready, to choose you to be with romantically, to promote, to commit to the vision that you have, the podcast that we were talking about in our hypothetical analogy, you would be putting a pause on your own self-development, your own growth, your own needs, your own desires, your own feelings, all in hopes that a person will turn around and commit to you or choose you or prioritize you in some capacity. And this can be extremely dangerous because when we wait to be chosen, that means that we don't feel chosen already. We're not choosing ourselves. We feel like we need someone else to validate, to approve, to pick us. And so you're putting yourself on the line. There is no guarantee that a person will ever choose you or be ready for you, especially if they're making you wait right now. And there's no guarantee that if they are going to choose you, if they are ready, they're actually going to be able to give you what you want. And so to actively spend time putting your energy into hoping that they are able to love and commit and choose you takes away time from you to do that for yourself. Anyone who does those things for themselves naturally will never be waiting for another person. I promise you, you are more independent than you think, and you do not need anyone to validate you. If someone isn't sure about you, let that be their own issue. Let them figure out that they fumbled the biggest bag of their life down the line in the future when you make your dream a reality and they're not a part of it. Let that be an L, let that be a lesson that maybe they have to learn for themselves. Sometimes we have to let people be content with the possibility of losing us. And that's just the truth, even if we don't want to lose them. And I know that that hurts because honestly, I felt that in my chest right now when I said it. I know that in moments like these, when you have to kind of pick you, even though it is the right choice, it still feels hard. But I promise that you do bring so much more value to the table than what you think you do. And anyone who doesn't see that is not worthy of what you bring. It just means that you and that person are not aligning on the vision, and you have to choose you. You have to do it without them, because if you continue to wait for them, you're going to miss out on your own life, on your own dreams, and no one is worth that. People should understand what's at stake when they can't commit, when they can't choose you, when they can't prioritize you in those moments. If you can't prioritize me, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, stay over there. The second I see it, my feelings don't even get hurt anymore because I'm like, we're just not a match. And that's okay. And I know that everyone learns that lesson differently. I know that everyone can be in a different situation, and sometimes it's way more deep and it's way more rooted in hurt. But the truth is the truth, and you don't want to continue to waste time on something that you know isn't going to give you what you want and need. Anything and anyone that will value you will show up in real time for you. And until then, you show up in real time for yourself. If I would have waited for one of my friends to have been ready to start a business with me, to start my business that I started in 2021, I still would have been waiting until 2025 when I'm making this video right now. Because let me tell you something about my girls. I love my girls. I go so hard for my friends. No one can touch them. But one thing I will say is that they're not going to prioritize my business, my vision, the way that I will. And I don't blame them for that, because everyone has their own unique vision. Now, like I said before in the intro of this video, there are people who have the same vision. There are so many business partners, so many groups that work together. I'm not saying that, the second someone disagrees with you or has a different goal, a different vision, you should just abandon the whole situation. No, but if you have one vision and it's very different than how your friend has their vision, and you're thinking about starting a business together, this may not be the thing to do together because it may just be better separate. If you want something out of a relationship and the person that you're with wants a completely different thing, you should not wait for them to change their minds. If they are unsure, let them be unsure and learn the hard way that you are the most valuable thing in the world and they're never going to find that. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh there. Maybe they find love. Who knows? I don't know. Like I said, everyone has a different path, a different dreams. You will meet people on your path that will give you whatever it is that you want just because they are aligned with what you want. They want the same things. They have their own goals. And why would I want to force them to be a part of something or to do things my way when I know that they could do things their way and vice versa? I promise you that every single thing that you want out of life is possible, but you have to make it happen, whether it's on your own, whether it's just you and God, whatever God means to you. Okay, there are going to be people who literally hand you what you want on a silver platter when they are the right people. But until then, you have to be able to know your worth, know your value, add that tax, add those state taxes, that property tax, the federal tax, everything to it, and get what you deserve. And remember not to accept anything less. And sometimes people do try that, and you have to be the one to let go, to step away, and to do your own thing. Because if you do not, you're going to be accepting the minimum wage. And honey, if you are on this channel right now, all of us are the most luxury gems in the whole entire world. So we don't accept that minimum wage energy over here, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you took some inspo, some motivation away from this video. And if you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you want to start a business, if you want to start a YouTube channel, a podcast, if you want to be in a certain type of relationship, if you want to have a certain type of friend, just know that you are entitled to that. You are deserving of that. And anyone who isn't willing to give you what it is that you want or deserve, that's okay. We don't have to be vengeful. We don't have to be shiesty. We don't have to hate them, but we just need to know that there are people who are going to be able to do that. And until then, you can give that to yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Let me know what else you want to see, and we will be back soon. See you guys later. Bye.